Hello, everyone. Sorry I've been a little bit inactive the last couple days. I just haven't felt like doing much, especially because next month I'm going to be doing so much stuff. I got Dynasty Warriors Origins and Graces on the same day. Uh, there's also the PGR update next month. Aether Gazer update next month. uh, I don't know if I want to do FF7 Rebirth. I'm kind of leaning towards no. I really didn't like the first one. I felt like it was... I don't know, I just didn't like the combat. I know the combat is a lot better in Rebirth, but... Uh, the open world's kind of turning me off. I'm not really big into open world games. It's really hard for me to play one. I like more focused stuff, so... I don't know if I'll do that or not. But yeah, there's too much stuff going on next month. I was like, why don't I just kind of take it easy for a while? There's nothing going on right now. Nice, calm period. No Megaton games out right now. I actually played Zenless Zone Zero all day yesterday. That game is a lot better than it was at launch. I hopped off that game really quick. I didn't like it that much. It's definitely a lot better now. Surprised at how much better it is. Although I was playing that game on Steam Deck, and the Steam Deck experience for that game is really bad. I don't know if it's any better now, but that game came out when my computer was in the shop. It kept crashing and memory leaking. I got tired of it. I gotta do a Game Awards thing this year. Because there are a lot of really good games I played this year that didn't get a lot of recognition. I gotta work on that. So there might be more of an extended break for me to work on that. I'm not sure if I really care to do it heavily edited. I mean, I could, but I don't know how much people will care. I might just do it casual. I'll see how I feel. Actually, I probably just linked to the videos I already put up because I did videos of all those games already. Stuff's kind of sucks. Bad start. This stuff sucks too. What gives? You mean like bleeding or something? I'll take that one. I'm not sure if you know this, but the Symphonia port was a pre-order bonus. It was a pre-order bonus for Zestiria. It's like you get a good game. You got a good game for pre-ordering a bad game. And they also outsourced that port to... They seem incapable of actually doing anything with that game themselves, because that port was outsourced to, I think, Other Ocean, who was the studio that also ruined Ultra Street Fighter 4.
Welcome back, dear.
I don't know if people remember that port.
Take care now.
I don't know if people remember that port, but they ported it to PS4 and it had tons of problems. But somehow, like, immediately after that, they got work for, they got work with Bamco to port that over. And I know that it was a mess at launch. I don't know what it is with Symphonia. They have, like, an FF7 quality game that people have a lot of nostalgia for, but all the ports are garbage. They're all worse. They're all worse than the original. I just don't understand it. I don't think they've made a single Symphonia port themselves since, like, Chronicles, or maybe even PS2. The remastered one was their Romanian studio, and they clearly are not... We're not up to the task. Terrible job. But I find it funny that they're, like, really trying to, they're trying to make sure that people know that this one is actually going to be a good remaster. I'm like, yeah, we botched the last remaster. How do you make a 20-year-old game worse on, like, exponentially more powerful hardware? How do you make it worse? Bamco managed to do it somehow. Like, dude, this game is older than a decent chunk of people that are even playing on the Switch. They can't get it right. Symphonia was good for its time. I'd say the problem with Symphonia is that gameplay-wise, the best version is still the one that came out like 20 years ago. Because they can't treat one of their most popular games with any kind of respect or effort. They treat it like complete garbage. I just don't understand it. FF7's got a remake, it's got an awesome port. You know, they've done like spin-off games and stuff, and then like Symphonia is just a disaster.
If anyone has a chance of forging a new path through the story relics, it's certainly you.
That's an awful lot of pressure on that statue.
Symphonia does have free run. The computer can do it, but you can't. Unless you use the mod, which you already said you don't want to do. Yeah, the AI in that game literally cheats. They can free run and you can't. They're very upfront about how much they cheat. They don't hide their cheating. You see, playing as Lloyd, you'll see Kratos literally do like a 180 around the enemy, and you can't do that.
Pretty desolate place. Don't think I want to stay out here for too long.
Reckon you?
What game?
You mean you? Betting small, betting big, don't really matter none. I know I'm something purty to look at. Your luck ain't half bad. Still be a while yet before you're a match for me.
Oh no, Symphonia is a little bit overrated, but not to the extent of FF7. It's definitely aged a lot better than FF7, despite having, you know, no remake and really bad ports. It's undeniably aged a lot better than FF7. The graphics and the gameplay have aged a lot better. It's just Square's treatment of FF7, whether you like the remake or not, is objectively better than Symphonia. Like, gameplay-wise, without, like, you know, lossless scaling or something as a way to fix it. You know, the only one that's 60 FPS is the first one, the GameCube one. FF7 does not have that problem. You want to play the original FF7, the PC port has tons of mods. People even did full voice acting. There's like a full voice acting mod for FF7. Like a full... They voice acted the entire game. Like, Symphonia does not have that level of treatment. But, you know, the PC port for FF7 is much better, so... That's what allows stuff like that to even be done in the first place.
Trade with a bit of your ink. May the blessings of the spirit beast be upon you, I guess. How? See you next time. No, who you should be thanking is my master, Grace. You're all set? Then think it's time you'd better hit the road. Dragging your feet is only keeping me from...
This game definitely goes in my, Game Awards for this year. This is one of the best roguelikes to come out this year. By a really large margin. It's an incredible game. I don't know how much attention it got, but it's definitely one of the best games I played this year. I have to put up some gameplay of this before I do the Game Awards. I'm gonna do my own Game Awards this year. I did one last year too, and I've got a little bit of a deadline because I need to do it before the sale ends. I need to give people time to get paid and stuff and buy what they want. There are a lot of really great indie games this year that didn't get the recognition they deserve, and I wanna do my part. You know how you fix Tekken? You put Tekken Force Mode back in. That's how you fix Tekken. It's simple. Just put that back in, man. I'm not really a competitive fighting game player anymore, but that would definitely get me to come back. Just give me Tekken Force Mode. What's so hard about that? I've never even I never was competitive at Tekken at all. Not even once. Only one I tried to play at the arcade was 5, but I was pretty bad at it. I didn't last. I went back to my comfort of 2D fighters.
Careful there. It's dangerous.
I don't know about that. Tekken 3 already had fighting a big ogre. Fighting like a wolf spirit in Tekken Tag. The whole semi-realistic martial arts thing lasted like 3 years. I think people overstate that a lot. It's not like Mortal Kombat where it was, you know, bonkers from the start and it just got, you know, way worse. Yeah, it's pretty much limited to like Tekken 2. Tekken 2 is when that stopped.
Simple work.
I'll leave the next part to you, dear.
Dragging your feet is only keeping me from seeing my master. Know who you should be thanking. May the blessings of the spirit beast be upon you, I guess. You're all set? Then think it's time you'd better hit the road.
Yeah, you gotta remember, there were like 4 Tekken games in like the first 4 years of the franchise. They were churning those games out, so like yeah, by the 3rd game they had Ogre and the whole Devil Gene thing, but like that was only like 3 years after the first one. It wasn't a long period of time. Like it's been like that for like 99% of the franchise lifespan. Mortal Kombat was incredibly popular at the time, and I think they didn't feel like they could stand out by keeping it like hyper realistic. Mortal Kombat somehow ended up being the one with the most serious story somehow, even though it literally was a jank American clone of Street Fighter 2, where they like didn't even have enough money to make a full roster, so they got one guy in a ninja costume, and then they made him, and they just recolored the sprite in their software, and that was their idea of increasing the roster. That one guy. Okay, he's a green ninja this time. We're gonna make him throw a punch or pretend to throw a fireball, and then we're just gonna make it color the sprite green. That's a completely new character. And somehow that became like the most serious, I guess, better written story out of all the fighting games. I still don't know how that happened. They couldn't even beat Street Fighter 2's roster without doing that. Without having clones or palette swap characters. Like, yeah, we got him to throw a punch, and then we're just going to change the sprite's color, and we're gonna make it a different character and write a bunch of BS lore. But then somehow it became like the most relevant story. I don't know how that happened.
Ow. See you next time. May the blessings of the spirit beast be upon you, I guess. No, who you should be thanking is my master, Grip. You're all set? Then think it's time you'd better hit the road.
Meanwhile, Street Fighter's story is a mess to the point where a new one they have like Ryu and Akuma using a smartphone, but like they're supposed to be like that should mean they should be like 70 years old now. Street Fighter 2 says that Ryu and Ken were born in like the 60s. They're born in like the late 60s, early 70s, because that would make them like college age, like prime, back when that came out. But now in the sixth one, somehow they haven't aged much, but now there's smartphones. You literally talk to them on social media. It's really weird. Lots of instances with that, like franchises that have gone on for so long. Like the characters they don't age realistically, but then like the world around them does. Like The Simpsons. Bart's been in elementary school for like 40 years. But of course now there's like VR and they have like all this other stuff in there.
This Fox Lighthouse must be destroyed.
I think the worst instance of that is definitely not what people think. It's not Street Fighter 6. It's the transition between Tales of Xillia 1 and 2. Because the story of that game is basically... The cliff notes of it is there's two worlds. And they're like disconnected, but at the end of the game they merge together. And Olympius is supposed to be more like our world, you know, they have technology and stuff that's about on par with what we have. But then it's established that when the worlds merge in the second game, that they already have, like, cell phones. Everybody's using cell phones. And it takes place a year apart. It makes absolutely no sense. I'm like, dude, I don't think their tech would advance that fast. You know, when we got smartphones, it was a gradual process, right? We didn't get to the point where everybody had one instantly, but in that game, it's been, like, literally barely a year, and they're all using them already. Even for a fantasy-oriented game, you gotta have a really big suspension of disbelief. Like, they just randomly, everybody's got... All the people that were from Riza Maxia, which is more like a medieval-era world, they're already using cell phones within a year. I don't think that they would be integrated into technology that fast. But it happens instantly. Like, literally overnight. What's up, Claymore? I don't know, in my opinion, Tales of Xillia 2's story is awful. That was one of the least bad things about it.
Trade with a... Dragging your feet is only keeping me from seeing my master.
The story was horrendous. That was just one of the things that was kind of hard to believe, but the actual story itself in Xillia 2 is
my master
horrible.
Grace.
Probably because the original game had a pretty set-in-stone ending, and they decided to add on to it. And it made it worse in every way.
Dragging your feet is only keeping me from seeing my master. No, who you should be thanking is my master, Grace.
Well, Origin seems to be doing pretty well outside of the, you know, the usual small group that plays the games like me. Especially with, like, the content creator space. There's been a lot of people that don't normally play those games playing the demo. So, I think it will do very well. Probably way better than they thought. They're doing the right things. It's definitely not going to be much of a style play game without mods or something, but it's doing things to grow the brand, and they're doing it a lot better than, you know, Tales, I would say. They've managed to hit a happy medium where they have, like, the hardcore people that never stop playing the games like me are mostly happy with it, and then they have, like, new people playing that like it as well. And that's a very hard thing to do, especially for an ancient franchise like that, where eventually it just gets to the point where everybody that likes the games is gonna buy them, or maybe some people age it out. Some people age out, but it's like really hard to replace them. But then if you try to appeal to a new audience, you often alienate the people that got you there in the first place, which is exactly what happened with Arise. Arise is one of the best-selling games, but it screwed over everybody that got them that far, you know? People that have been buying those games for decades, you know, kind of was a middle finger to everybody who liked the old battle system. Origins is definitely doing a better job. I think more than people are giving it credit for, because that's not an easy task.
I can't wait. Toodly-doo. Bye-bye to you.
That's how Mortal Kombat's always been, though. Mortal Kombat became pump and dump after Mortal Kombat 9. They know that casuals buy those games for $70 and, you know, they only play for a week, but they make a good money. They don't have to do more than that. Plus, it's because it's published by Warner Brothers. I like how they said that that game was supposed to have the longest lifespan. I'm like, BS. It's gonna be 2 years before a new game, like all the other ones. And that's exactly what's happening. I saw through that BS really quick. Like, even if they want to do that, Warner Brothers is not gonna let them. That's pretty much what's happening. Because they decided doing a... How much is that expansion? Isn't the expansion like $40 or $50? The expansion is insanely expensive. And they thought that people were gonna buy that, but... I think the roster is part of it as well. How many people are really excited to play as Ghostface? I don't think Ghostface is people's first pick, because he's just a guy in a Halloween costume. He really doesn't have any powers. But that was their idea of a good DLC character, and it backfired.
See you next time. Maybe. Dragging your feet is only keeping me from seeing. May the blessings of the Spirit Beast be upon you, I guess. You're all set? Then think it's time you better hit the road. No, who you should be thanking is my master, Grace.
Well, the expansion is insanely overpriced, and it's a worse value than the previous game, so I don't know why they priced it like that, and the game already has so many microtransactions. All the service fighting games have different problems. Street Fighter 6 characters are priced pretty fairly. The problem is that they don't add anything for the actual characters. Everything's for the avatar costumes. So it's alienating the competitive people. That's the only thing they add is the avatar costumes, but somehow it makes money. A lot of people play that and don't, they don't care about competitives.
Joy.
Like how it says skip and it makes me watch this.
So free.
Skip.
It's
Skip.
like a dream.
Skip, please. Thank you. That was a pretty good run. I like how the story of Mortal Kombat 1 is that Liu Kang becomes, like, mega-powered and makes a new universe, but then it's just the old one again with, like, something slightly changed. How many times have they rebooted now? Why does everything have to have multiverse? That was the thing that ruined Bayonetta 3 as well. The story in Bayonetta 3 was horrible. And you could tell that, like, the multiverse stuff actively ruined the story in every way. That game had the dumbest story. Actively one of the worst stories I've sat through. I wish I had not watched it. Like how the whole thing with Bayonetta 3 was that, you know, the other Bayonettas are jobbers and they suck at fighting. They're like game journalist levels at fighting, and they all job and they die to like random trash enemies, trash mobs, and then you get a weapon from them, but then it repeats that like 6 times. So the writing makes you, it's supposed to make you feel like you're supposed to care about the jobber Bayonettas, but you know that they have to die to give you gameplay stuff. It only hits hard the first time, but then they do it like 6 more times. I'm like, dude, these other Bayonettas are garbage. The only one that's any good is the Prime Dimension one. The other ones would not make it out of the intro of any other Bayonetta game. Story in that game was horrible. Everything about it was so bad. I'm like, if this is how you're gonna write your games from now on, I think you should just make a roguelike with no story. Because clearly the writers know what the hell they were doing. You can't kill off random jobber one-episode characters like 10 times and then expect people to still care. It just doesn't work that way. When you kill off a character, it's supposed to have shock value, right? But it's like all the other Bayonettas they're terrible at fighting. They could barely survive doing like a mob fight on like the prologue. And the other Bayonetta games, they wouldn't make it out of that alive. Why am I supposed to care? And they have like 15 minutes of character development tops. But then they just die, and you get a weapon from them. And you already don't care because you know that they have to die to give you a weapon. And the other thing about that game is that the whole making Viola the new Bayonetta didn't land at all. A lot of people didn't like her character design. I didn't particularly care for her character design either. What bothered me more than the character design was the fact that she is a Mary Sue. She's incapable of doing anything without being helped. She's a lot worse than Vegeta in that regard. Vegeta can do stuff by himself. He's just been outclassed by how much power creep there is, but like Viola is incapable of doing literally anything without being saved by somebody else. And she's supposed to be the new Bayonetta. I get that they didn't want to make her a badass character from the start, because that's not good writing either. But the entirety of that game is her sucking and not being capable of doing anything. And then somehow she's supposed to be the new Bayonetta. I'm like, I really think that she needed another game to get to that point. You know, they did not do that with Nero in DMC4. He was the main character, but he didn't replace Dante until the end of 5. You know, he had 2 games to develop, and it felt like it was earned. Felt like we don't know if we're going to get a new one, so we're just going to make her the new Bayonetta. But she sucks at fighting, and she's nowhere near worthy of that title at all. Let's just make 30 different Bayonettas, but they're all trash at fighting. I like how even Jean, who's supposed to be a capable side character, she literally dies to a trash mob in that game too. That made a lot of people really angry. That Jean doesn't even get to go out like with a capable fight. It's like the equivalent of like Vegeta dying. Like Vegeta dying to, I don't know, Nappa comes back or something. Like Nappa comes back and Vegeta dies. That level of stupidity. We're gonna make our secondary character that was the main rival. We're gonna make her die to a trash mob. She gets stabbed in the back. And that's the end of it. Great writing. Oscar-worthy writing right there. It's like Vegeta dying to a Frieza goon. Vegeta just gets punched in the back by a Frieza goon and he's just dead forever. That's basically the equivalent of how bad Bayonetta 3 writing was. He's just done. He's pieced out. Random Frieza goon with a power level of like 200. Just slaps him on the back and he's dead. He's never coming back. Incredible writing.
Good day, Proxy.
That game did have some cool stuff about it. But none of it was
To what do I owe the
the story.
pleasure?
The story was abysmal. Actively horrible story. Character assassination, just terrible writing, and then adding multiverse stuff made it worse. Yeah, she dies at the end to a trash mob. It's killed by a trash mob.
Nice one.
Vanish. Perfect teamwork.
My blade is already sheathed.
My pleasure. Nothing to it.
It's like if Virgil dies to like a Hell Pride.
No room for mercy.
Because Jeanne is banned as Virgil, right? She's
Weakling.
the rival to the main character with, you know, equal fighting prowess. Like Virgil just dies to a trash mob. You know, which makes no sense.
Awaken.
Makes no sense in the context of gameplay or even just the lore.
Watch it, Lord.
Completely nonsensical.
Again. I'm unstoppable. My blade is already sheathed. Home run!
Watch it, Lord.
I didn't like this game much at launch. It's a lot better now, but the monetization is still trash, so it's not going to be a main game for me. Play this on the side. I definitely can't afford to play 3 gachas. I think if I could afford to play 3 gachas, I would not constantly have a donate link on my streams. I can't afford to play 3 gachas competitively. I could do PGR, and I can do Aether Gazer because I'm part of the partner program, but this probably just Battle Pass and the monthly card. And then, like, maybe if they actually have... Like, they had that deal where it was, like, $30 for 20 pulls. That actually wasn't bad. I bought that. But the rest of the stuff is a crap value for your dollar. I'm not really wanting to do that.
on my blade. Yeah. A beautiful shooting star! Weakling.
Let me show you how it's done.
Your life is but one step away.
If they announce a new Tails gacha, it needs to have controller support and no touch controls. Because that is what actively made Ray's age really badly. They did not plan for the future with that game at all. Because I played the global one when it came out. And like, having 4 move slots at the beginning was relatively okay. But then some characters, the popular characters like Leon, Lloyd, you know, mainstay, top popularity characters, they ended up with like 16 moves and you only had 4 slots. The touch controls actively killed that game in a lot of ways, actually. I get that they wanted it to be easy to get into, but it made it really hard to add anything to the game. Not wanting to play that game without cheating is precisely the problem with how it's designed. It's really terrible designed. That community was really unhinged, man. I'm glad that I kind of bowed out. I deleted all my videos of mods because people were being really weird. And I'm like, well, you can go watch somebody else play the game then. And that's exactly what I did. I stopped making content for that game because the community liked to justify the terrible progression systems in that game. Like, why are you guys going to bat for side games? This stuff should be fixed. If the best way to play the game is to not play it, then something's clearly wrong with how it's designed. And I paid $70 for the game, so I have my right to not want to do that. But people were being really unhinged, so I stopped covering that game. Very easy decision to make. As soon as a community gets really unhinged like that, I bow out. I'm like, I don't really care. I'm not making anywhere near enough on this to care. Like, people want to be weird and unhinged. They can go do that on somebody else's channel. People were literally making bots. They were making bots to auto farm, and I'm like, don't you see a problem here? Don't you see a problem? Like, that's something people do in like games like this, right? That's something people do in games like this, right? You know, you make a bot to skip doing stuff. But like, why? If the game is designed like that, and people are doing that in a single-player game, like, something seriously wrong. Like, what the hell, man? That's a straight toxic relationship right there. There's definitely a lot of game communities like that are very hostile towards people who use mods. I'm like, dude, this is a single-player game with a finite amount of content, and it also has really bad progression systems that don't encourage you to keep playing. I'm like, you can understand, you should be able to understand, like, why people are doing it. There's so many reasons why he would want to cheat in that game, and people are very, weird about it. I guess I should wait until this resets, huh? Might be time to do something else. Let me see if any characters need this.
This is the path I follow. This is the path I follow.
I'm here, so we're good.
Eradicate all. Strike! I'll beat everyone! Press forward. My blade is already sheathed. Awaken! Perfect teamwork!
Watch and learn! I'm unstoppable!
Yeah, I know he has two forms. I've done this before.
Weakling. Purging slash. It's over.
A beautiful shooting star!
Vanish.
I'm not a loser.
Watch and learn. I pledge my honor!
Please refine me! Submit and be refined!
My blade
Your blessing! Mighty creator, please refine me!
awaken. Perfect teamwork.
Watch and learn.
I swear on my blade. Yeah.
And the winner is me!
Please refine me!
The boss isn't bad. I don't know, I guess I just played too many sweaty action games to really be bothered by any of the fights in this game. They're all pretty manageable. Which is a good thing, this game is not balanced around people spending thousands of dollars. If you do that, you just curb stomp everything. I'm sure somebody that has a maxed out Miyabi can probably play the game, like, with one hand. Just kind of mash the attack button and everything dies. You still have to try, but it's not... nothing in this game bothers me. It's mostly just the monetization. But all their games are like this, though. They're fun games, and they're very high quality, but spending money on the game is kind of not great. Yeah, you guys know I don't have that money, so... And if I did, I would rather do that on PGR or Aethergazer, as you still get a better value for your dollar in those games compared to this. Alright, well this resets in a bit, so let's hop on PGR. PGR just reset. And that's like my main game. This is a side game. I don't know if I'll stick with it. I might probably end up quitting it again, to be honest. We'll see. Let's go ahead and switch over. Where's my main game, PGR?
規則正しい生活だと人は錆びちまうぜ。つまんねえな。でもまあ毎日お前のそばにいるなら飽きることもねえかな。
I wish Zenless Zone Zero was not a MiHoYo game, because then it would have better monetization. And I'd be more inclined to stick with playing it, but I just can't afford their games. It's just too expensive. It's like $100 for like 50 pulls. It's not even soft pity. I just can't justify doing that much with their games. I wish it was not like that, but people buy it, so I mean, can't fault them for doing something that works. But I definitely feel very priced out of playing their stuff. It's nice to play on the side. I like that. I just hope that Zenless Zone Zero won't end up like Honkai Impact. That game is just spamming supers all the time. The Honkai Impact is kind of weird because the monetization actually isn't much better than their other games like Genshin and stuff, but they do a lot of power creep, and the value for buying pulls is just as bad as it is in all their new games, Genshin, Star Rail, and Zenless. It's actually not much different. They've always been like that. The main thing that's changed is the 50-50 pity garbage, which I think is insanely predatory. I don't like how we just kind of came to accept that that's okay. You know, this game has its faults, but the gacha system is very fair. So he says 60 pulls here. You're very unlikely to get the character before 60, but it's guaranteed. Worst thing about this game is monetization is very minimal compared to MiHoYo. Is this really sucks. The weapon banner in this game is garbage. It's actively the worst thing about playing it, because the exchange rate for getting the one that you want is you need 3 6-stars. Why are you playing Arise? You've got 2 good games there and a bad game. Are you trying to torture yourself or something? Why are you playing Rise? That's a good selection of games there. The first two are solid games, and then you ruin the rest of your night by playing Rise. Why do that to yourself? You clearly have better games to play. Why? I don't quite follow. The plot is not worth remembering. The plot is just as bad as Bayonetta 3. It's actively terrible plot. That is not the game to play for story. It's awful. Literally insults your intelligence. Hard pass.
Teamwork ですか? 命令により暗闇を払いに参ります。偽りを破壊、秩序再建、無知の幕を下ろせ。絶対無駄です。さあ、終焉の光を与えません。悪夢の終わりをここに宣告します。私が進行する、私についてくれる。誰でもいいからかかって敵の隙を作ります。貫け錠剤の槍。おう、できるとでも思っている。抵抗無駄です。絶対に許
If
せない。
you're craving Tales, then play a better one. Why are you playing Rise? Rise does make you appreciate the old games. I'll give you that. But
命令により偽りを破壊、判決、秩序再建、無知の幕を下ろせ。私進行するための槍。理解。さあ、終焉の光を与えましょう。悪夢の終わりをここに宣告します。
Says a lot that I'm having fun playing Tales of Rebirth, which is a 20-year-old game. I'm having more fun playing that than I would playing Arise. Especially because you're on console, you don't have the animation cancel mod. That makes that game playable. I actually admit I had some fun playing that game with that mod, but I would never play that game again without that mod. Like, never. And if somebody came in here and donated like thousands of dollars for me to play it, I would say like the stipulation is it has to be with the mod. I'm just straight not doing it. The animation cancel mod is one of those mods. It's like the game should have been like that in the first place. It definitely makes it a lot better, but they didn't design the game like that for some reason. Let's make you get locked in 8-second animations and you have no cancels against enemies that don't stagger. Just genius combat design.
あらゆる責任は
Horrible.
どれも枷を意味します。
This game I'm playing right now is not a combo game at all. It's not a combo game, but character is responsive. That's the difference.
最後の情けです。生死の輪廻よ、冠をまとえ。生死競争、安寧の時。
That was the thing I hated the most about
最後の情けです。
Risers. Was saying, oh, people just want to combo the enemies to death.
川へと
I'm
歩
like,
みな
dude,
さい。
that's not the problem.
生死の輪廻よ、冠をまとえ。
The problem is fighting hyper armor with incapable characters. That's the problem.
最後の哀れで無駄なあがきよ。最後の哀れで無駄なあがきよ。生死の輪廻よ、冠をまとえ。生死競争、安寧の時。哀れで無駄なあがきよ。さあ、哀れで無駄なあがきよ。生死の輪廻よ、冠をまとえ。生死競争、安寧の時。哀れで無駄なあがきよ。さあ、川へと歩みなさい。生死の輪廻よ、冠をまとえ。生死競争。
You know, it's fine if people like the game, but don't ignore its flaws. It's just not fun to fight walls of hyper armor with incapable characters. The game I'm playing right now is Hyper Armor City, but I play it every day. I've spent a good amount of money on it. Not an insane amount, but enough to get like most of the recharge bonuses. It's not just about combos. That's a scapegoat. Can't expect people to think critically though.
生死の輪廻よ、冠をまとえ。生死競争、安寧の時。九龍の未来を共に見届けましょう。
Yeah, that whole rhetoric really bothered me. It's like people have some contempt for people that could play the games well. It's like, well, saying it's just because people want to combo stuff to death is really weird because most people don't even play the games that level. I barely do myself. I do to a degree, but not at like the highest level possible. People are like, you just play it to do combos. I'm like, well, I mean, was there a problem with that? You can't have just like long-ass animations. They work in fighting games. Yes. Long animations you can't cancel out of aren't a bad thing. It depends on the context of how the game is designed. We had this same problem with Godfall. The Godfall developers said that they're quoted as saying they wanted you to think about the attacks that you were doing, and that's why they didn't have cancels. But you're constantly surrounded in that game. It makes absolutely no sense. It's like, that works in a fighting game. It's fine in a fighting game. No one complains about it. No one with a brain complains about that because it's how the game is designed. But you can't fight like big enemies and hyper armor and then have a
Kiryu no
unresponsive
Isshin.
character. It just doesn't work.
終結戦さあ永遠へと歩みなさい最後の情けですさあ永遠へと歩みなさい生死の輪廻よ冠をまとえ生死競争安寧の時さあ最後の情けです
準備はすでに整っている。起こりない成果だ。もう死は恐れない。命がけで恐れはしない。道を切り開く。もう死は恐れない。道を切り開く。準備はすでに整っている。
哀れで無駄なあがきよ九竜は生き続く生死の輪廻よ冠をまとえ生死競争安寧の時さあ哀れで無駄なあがきよ
この戦場にもう死は恐れない。命がけで恐れはしない。道を切り開く。準備はすでに整っている。もう死は恐れない。命がけで恐れはしない。道を切り開く。もう死は恐れない。
終わりですさあ永遠へと歩みなさい哀れで最後の情けです生死の輪廻よ冠をまとえ生死競争安寧の時さあ哀れで無駄なあがきよ最後の情けです生死の輪廻よ冠をまとえ生死競争安寧の時
命がけで行くぞ。道を切り開く。おごりの戦はもう死は恐れない。命がけで恐れはしない。おごりの戦は生き抜いてやる。道を切り開く。行くぞ。立ち止まるのはらしくない。
Let me see, I might have some Christmas money. I see Christmas money coming in a little bit from my neighbor. What are the good passes this patch? I bought these cheap ones. I gotta buy the battle pass first. That's probably gonna be the extent of it. Because next patch is the catch-up patch. The synchronization plan is starting next patch. This patch is kind of boring, to be honest. Last patch had really fun mini-games. This patch has, like, nothing. So it's been a 15-minute-a-day game, which isn't a bad thing. It's not a bad thing that you're not on it for very long, but the thing about PGR that really sucks is, like, sometimes, like, the mini-games suck, or there just aren't any mini-games, or there's no events going on, so you kind of just do your Pain Cage and Warzone and auto-clear the event dungeon, and then you log off. last patch was really fun with the Simulacrum event. That was really enjoyable. This patch is kind of a nothing burger. There's nothing going on in the game right now. It's kind of why I started playing Zenless. Aethergazer has short dailies. The problem is that it just takes too much stuff to level up your characters, so that game also is kind of log on for a few minutes and then log off. Which, again, isn't a bad thing, but progression being time-gated definitely really sucks. You can't really progress in that game. I'd say Aethergazer biggest benefit as a gacha is that the minigames and stuff are worth doing. PGR definitely has that problem where whether you like the minigames or not is subjective, of course. Some of them are really fun, some of them are not. But a lot of the rewards in PGR for doing them are not great. So I always tell people, if you want to play the game because of my content playing it or somebody else that you watch, if you spend on the game, you don't really need to do the minigames. However, that might actually change, because next patch is the synchronization plan, and they're going to be like massively increasing all the rewards. So you might actually have to do the minigames. What I like about Aethergazer, Aethergazer right now, they have a literal Zuma clone. They have a Zuma clone in Aethergazer, and it's like actually really fun. But also, it gives you like a week's worth of progression. I'm like, that's worth it. That's worth it. Sometimes in these gachas, it'd be like a really shit minigame, and they're just like, well, we're gonna give you like 20 currency. I'm like, that's not worth doing, man. That's not worth doing. If I have to play a minigame I don't like for an entire patch to get like $3 of currency, I'd rather just spend $3, honestly.
待ってたぞ。
待ってたぞ。
では、今日の予定を聞こうか。
私に任せて。いいね。ありがとう。この感触。邪魔をしないで。これでみんなに食らいなさい。気が楽ね。遅い。食らいなさい。
遅い。
はあ。速攻はゴール、横は明瞭。さあ、お眠りなさい。さあ、ベル、あなたが輝く時を任せて。暁の光は向かい、世界に夜明けを。隙がなくね。邪魔をしないで。はあ。で、公園。落ち着いてまいりましょう。食らいなさい。終わったね。みんなを守れてよかった。
PGR definitely handles Hyper Armor better than FF16. Problem with FF16 is they give you so many options, but you're hard limited by only having 6 move slots. It's Tales of the Rage syndrome. You have a literal buffet of options, but you can only choose like 6. The game's a lot like Kingdom Hearts 3. The mods make the game so much better in every way. And Unless you're a purist or you're doing some kind of achievement guide or something. There's no reason to not play that game with the mods. It just makes it better in every way. They definitely didn't use the real estate they had with the buttons very well, and there's a lot more they could have done. Apparently, like, the director or something said that there was supposed to be... the moves were supposed to level up and get, like, extra properties, but that didn't happen. What's up, Evil Bite? Hello. Just playing random stuff until Dynasty Warriors is out. Yeah, this game is a reverse sausage fest. There's barely any cool male characters. It sucks for me because that's what I like. I'm not into generic anime waifus. But they gotta do what makes money, I guess. I respect the hustle. I don't have to really like it, but I understand why. What's up, Marcy? Been alright. Took a little mini break from making content, as I'm going to be working overtime with Origins and Races in a few weeks. So I'm kind of just playing whatever the hell I feel like. Kitty sitting streams, I definitely recommend watching if you guys don't watch those, because I've been doing PS2 games on those streams. I got PS2 emulation working, so I've been playing through Crimson Tears and Tales of Rebirth English patch. I might do some of that tonight. I'll see how I feel. I feel like hooking up the capture card. I get lazy sometimes. See how I feel. Entropy Effect, peak game. That definitely wins my Game Awards this year. I was actually talking before you came in. I'm gonna do my own Game Awards. Do my own Game Awards about the best games I played this year that don't get Jeff Keighley's recognition. There are a lot of good games that were not mentioned on there. Incredible games I played this year. It was a really good year for niche games, small games. There was a lot of really good stuff this year. And I gotta make the video before the sale goes off. Because a lot of the games are on sale. Probably do that tomorrow, maybe tonight after I stop streaming. People have time to use their Christmas money, get some good stuff. I played a lot of great games this year, and very few were AAA. Almost all of them were like not AAA. Great year for small games. Feels like the year was kind of not great for big games, actually. We had Concord this year. They had Concord this year, and a bunch of other stuff flopped this year. Small games were really popping off this year compared to the last couple years.
くらいなさい。
That game was dead the moment it came out. People that said that they kept updating it, I'm like, you know why they updated it, right? It wasn't because it was doing well. They were contractually obligated to. It's the only reason. If they didn't promise people seasons of DLC, that game would have died about as fast as Concord. The concurrent player base on like the first week was not much better. Not where it needs to be for a game of that scope and budget, that's for sure. Nowhere near. That's what happens when you promise DLC, you have to put it out no matter what. It's a really big deal if you don't. That's the only reason why it lasted as long as it did. If they were banking on sales to do it, then they would have killed it ages ago. It's kind of what's going on with, you know, Marvel Infinite and Beyond. People keep asking, like, is this gonna ruin the matchmaking? And Max has to constantly say the matchmaking for the game was dead, like, a month after it came out. Like, the only people playing it are going to be using that mod. The concurrent player base on that game was so low that you couldn't see it without going to the SteamDB or Steam charts. That means it's under 300 players. It's like, yes, the game will freak out if you fight somebody without the mod, but the chances of that are incredibly low. Like, it's just not something that's statistically going to happen more than a couple times. It was the same couple dozen people playing it every week at the Gauntlet tournament, and that was it. There's no one else playing. That's why you do mods for games that like don't get support anymore, because it doesn't impact anybody's experience. There's no one else playing the game, so the mod is just an improvement for everybody that does play it. It's not ruining anything. You can't do that with like Street Fighter 6. You know, Guilty Gear Strive has crazy gameplay mods and stuff, but you know, you can't play it online, and then also they update the game still, so you have to wait for it to be updated. Xenoverse 2 is another example. They won't let that game die, it keeps getting updates, so every time that they update the game, you have to wait for them to patch the mod loader. Like, Infinite's clearly not getting anything. They promised that that game was going to have an insane roster, and it didn't. It got one season and 2 half-baked balance patches, and then they turned off the lights. So that's the whole reason why a mod for that kind of game works. There's crazy mods for Guilty Gear Strive, but the fact that it's still an active service game directly kills it. I don't even know anything about Dragon Age. I've never played any of those games.
皆さん、落ち着いてきっちり決めちゃいましょう。残念ですが、すっごい後期到来です。ほらほら。バッチリ期待に応えてみせます。外しません。ほらほら。そうね。きれいさっぱり終わらせます。ほらほら行きますよ。外すバッチリ期待に応えてみせます。作戦成功。バッチリ計画
I mean, isn't that what Bayonetta 3 is? It takes a fat dump on everybody who bought those games. I already explained at length what's wrong with that game's writing. The writers just had insane contempt for the people that bought the previous 2 games and all the 800 different ports to get to the point where they could even make a 3rd game. Especially after it was vaporware for like 6 years. Like, we just hate the people that gave us the sales to, you know, make this a trilogy. We just actively hate them. Gunvolt 3 is definitely another one as well. But I always skip the story in Gunvolt, so I didn't really care. Gunvolt gameplay is really good. Gunvolt turns into a baby and goes back to his home planet. The end. Like, did I buy a high quality indie game, or did I buy a DeviantArt fanfic? Yeah, the ending is he goes back to his home planet. He turns into like a dragon baby or something. Really weird. I should probably make this obvious. Sometimes I get people complaining that I skip cutscenes. I'm like, if you've played as many good gameplay games with horrible stories, you would probably skip cutscenes too. Because there's been so many games I try to give the story a chance and I end up wishing I just push start and skipped. Tales of Arise, good example. Gunvolt 3, Bayonetta 3, a big one for sure. Like, if that just repeatedly happens to you, you'd probably become a more gameplay-oriented gamer too. With games like this, I just don't even bother because you know that it's probably not going to finish. Or it becomes like DFO where the story's been going on for like as long as One Piece. It's like, do you really want to be invested in that story for that long? When it can shut down at any time? Meme about One Piece all you want, it will end eventually. DFO is more likely to shut down. DFO is more likely to shut down than to actually have an ending. Because One Piece is 800 hours, 800 episodes or whatever, it never ends. But DFO is worse. I just offended One Piece, dude. I said we meme about how it never ends, but it will end eventually. The DFO story has been going on about as long as One Piece. There's no sign of ever ending. And because it's an online game instead of a multimedia franchise, there's a very high chance it never will have an ending. There's a distinct difference between One Piece and DFO. DFO's been going for almost 20 years, and it still hasn't ended. Like, One Piece will end eventually, DFO will not. The story's been going on longer than, like, pretty much any other shonen manga franchise at this point. Never ending. I mean, DFO is pretty much just Korean Dragon Ball. You grind to beat a boss, and then a more powerful one appears, and just keep doing that for 20 years. It's, that's the extent of the story. But it's still going. No end in sight. DFO's story was, even before it was 20 years long, was always really limited by the fact that it's a, you know, grinding game. I remember you had to prove yourself to the Bantu tribe, and you, like, kill everybody in there. And you go out, and they're like, you need to prove yourself to them again. I'm like, what? I'm playing a boxer that punches them into chunks. Like, why do I need to prove myself to them again? Same thing with Behemoth. They made Behemoth such a big deal, and then the leveling has you kill him like 800 times. I'm like, dude, I curb stomped that big hentai monster like 6 times already. But because it's a video game that's based around grinding and repetition, you gotta go do it like 6 times. That's always been the flaw. That's why it's crazy that it's gone on as long as it has. Because the gameplay loop and the story have never matched, like, ever. Like, I need to prove myself to them again. I just punched their whole village into chunks. Why do I need to do it again? Behemoth got turned into chunks too. Oh, he's back already. Like, I just killed him. I just punched him to chunks too. How is he back already? I saw him explode into chunks. I punched him so hard. He's seafood now. Oh, he's back. You gotta go prove yourself. Like, no, she should be dead. It's like trying to write a story and have it make it make sense, but then the gameplay loop just makes that, like, basically impossible. So that's why I never really cared, personally. Go prove yourself to them again. I already punched all their finest warriors into chunks, like, 30 seconds ago. Why do I need to go back? I think that proves that I'm worthy right there. They all got punched into little meat chunks. And now I need to go prove myself to them again. What? How many of these warriors do I have to turn into chunks to get what I need? I think I proved my point.
Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite and beyond.
Let's get the party started.
Chun-Li,
I'll show you my strength.
Captain America. Let's go. Only one team will be left standing.
Yeah, also he's back again. You one-shot him, but he's back again. He's on, like, an Overwatch respawn timer. He's already back. By the time you load out of the instance, he's already back. Straight up Marvel Rivals Overwatch respawn timer. He's got the gift of a Call of Duty character. It's got the 10-second cooldown and he's back. Go prove yourself to him again. Like, what? Go prove yourself again. Like, dude. My fighter kicked him in the shin so hard that he exploded. And he's already back.
Chun-Li!
Wonderful!
How was this game? It was always better than Dragon Ball FighterZ. It got dragged through the dirt for having a crap roster and bad graphics. But gameplay-wise, it was always better than Dragon Ball FighterZ. And Dragon Ball FighterZ is not why it died. It's not why it died. It's a contributing factor, yes, but this game did an excellent job at shortening its own lifespan without Dragon Ball FighterZ ever being announced. Gameplay and net play was way better than Dragon Ball FighterZ. The difference is Dragon Ball FighterZ got like 5 years of content, and this got like 3 months. But Dragon Ball FighterZ gameplay was way worse than this game. Keep in mind, I'm talking about Season 1 Dragon Ball FighterZ, not now where they have, you know, all the new mechanics and the Marvel 2 assist mechanic and stuff. They didn't have any of that. And like almost all the characters played the same as well. The movesets were very homogenized. The netcode was terrible. That's one thing that always really bothered me about people hating the game so much. It's like, at least this has functional netcode. The rollback in this game was always great. Like this and Battle for the Grid were both better than Dragon Ball FighterZ just because the net play actually worked. You know, Battle for the Grid also had a rough start too with no voice acting, you couldn't block low, the roster was small, there was no single player content. It's not like that game started off any better than this did, but they made it better over time, and it also had really good netcode from the start. And it took until like the beginning of this year for fighters to have rollback. So from a functionality standpoint, this game and Battle for the Grid were always better than Dragon Ball FighterZ. I don't want to see anybody argue otherwise. We're not looking at the gameplay component of the game.
Stick around! Later! Get out! Chun-Li!
Impressive.
Down and out! Stick around! Later! Chun-Li!
You're open!
Keep it inside! And finish Chun-Li! You gotta be crazy.
Maximum.
Yeah, people just had a hate boner for this game, and there definitely were things that was warranted, but like, Dropping this game for fighters was always really weird for me because the netcode was horrible, the gameplay was worse, the movesets were worse. It just had better graphics and a more popular franchise it's based on, but it was objectively a worse game in every way. Battle for the Grid had to come out of that hole too, but Battle for the Grid actually ended up being like one of the best functionality games for competitive because it had crossplay with every console. They had lobbies with spectator mode, good rollback as well. Battle for the Grid doesn't get enough love for improving so much. It was definitely really rough at launch, but if you stuck with it for like the first 2 seasons, it was definitely better than a lot of things you could play when it stopped getting updated. Street Fighter 6 wasn't out. Tekken had crap netcode. Dragon Ball FighterZ did. Soul Calibur. King of Fighters as well. You know, all those games had horrible online functionality, and Battle for the Grid had everything it needed. I don't know. People are fickle. I love this game. I just stopped playing it because everybody else did. The graphics didn't bother me that much because I saw a good game underneath all that. I remember how to do the Dance Macabre switch. Oops.
I'll finish this!
Stylish. Maximum. Down and out. Stick around. Later. Great. Good.
I wish Power Rangers Battle for the Grid still got updates, but they keep updating the mobile game instead. That mobile game roster is so insane, and every time I see their trailers, I'm like, man, can you please update Grid with this? They have such an insane roster in that game, especially as a Power Rangers fan. The roster in the mobile game is so awesome. I'm like, why can't you update Grid anymore? Even a fraction of those characters, man. They got the Geki Rangers in there, they got Deca Break, they have like sick characters. That would be great for a fighting game, but they stopped updating it after the Street Fighter collab. It's a shame, really.
Black Widow.
Excellent choice.
Black Panther.
You have chosen well.
Chun-Li. Iron Man. Dare to believe you can survive.
They added fucking Geki Red. They added Geki Red, man. You know how much I want to play as him in a fighting game? I really want that, man.
Super.
Shock!
Cool.
Predictable. Saw that a mile away.
Time for the hunt. We're of hunting.
No, Marcy, the story is they got the collab with Capcom to put Ryu and Chun in Grid, and then, like, the same day, they announced that they were doing Olympic NFTs. So I'm not making this up. There's proof. I'm like, you have more people looking on this amazing game that's doesn't get the credit it deserves, and then you announce fucking Olympic Games NFTs the same day. Like, way to sabotage your update. By that point, the game had everything it needed to be a much better competitive fighting game than the big AAA stuff. And they just completely ruined it. Let's just shill our NFTs. I'm gonna install the Trials mod for Grid, so give me a second here. There's a Trials mod I want to try, so let me find it. Alright. Give me a moment here. I gotta install the mod. We're gonna do some Grid Trials for a bit, because it's my favorite fighting game. Favorite fighting games last gen were not the popular ones. I played so much Grid. I played so much Marvel Infinite. Those were the best fighting games last gen, in my opinion. Well, I think I'm getting a review key for Origins, so I should not have that problem, but in the event that I don't somehow, I will definitely, I'll definitely get the scam version. I don't know, it depends. Where's my Beppin EX? Oh, here we go. Let me see. Well, I'm actually not an expert at Graces. The only time I played Graces was the Japanese Wii version, which, as we all know, is the beta. They added so much stuff to that game, like, a couple months later. I never really played the PS3 one, so I won't be making guides for that game if anyone's expecting that. I'm not making guides for that game. There are people way more equipped to do that than I am. Origins, obviously, I will, but anything else? No. I can't find my damn... Where is it? Sorry for the delay. The battle for the grid is top tier fighting game. Everybody that complains about fighting games being too aggressively balanced needs to shut up and play that game. But admittedly, it got abandoned, so I don't know how much people really want to stick around, but it is a very good game. Okay, now it's not letting me into the mod folder. What's going on here? Oh, that might be why. Hold on. I'm about to just give up on this. It's not wanting to load. I'm just gonna have to do this the old-fashioned way. Where is it? Let's see here. Okay, I think I just need to reinstall the entire game. I can't seem to find the install. Like, where did it go? Alright, here we go. Alright, might be onto something here. Alright, let me get the mod loader. Missing executable, what the hell? What's going on? It's having a really hard time installing this mod. It's struggling. This is from the new Power Rangers beat 'em up. It's not very good. Apparently the last patch improved it quite a bit. Still haven't really wanted to play it. I just can't justify $35 for one character with 5 palette swaps. I don't think the mod work did it. You see how much I played this? Level 456. The mod didn't work. Hold on. What is going on with this? Why is this freaking out so much? Oh, no wonder. It verified all the files. That's what it did. Alright, well, this is off to a great start. Let me try that again. Otherwise, we'll just play something else. So I'll do this later. Alright, where's the hack again? Yeah, even Tommy is a clone character. They make you unlock Tommy and he's the same as everybody else. Their reasoning was that they wanted it to be simple to get into, but it backfired because even the normies are hating it. What gives? Where's the trial? Where's the trial? It's not working. Wait a minute. I think I know why. Yeah, but I have it in there and it's not working. I'm just gonna reinstall the whole fucking game. I don't know why this is not wanting to work. Just torch the whole thing. Why is this so difficult? I don't understand what the problem is. Just torch the whole thing and start over. I'll give this one more try, and then I'm going to stop. So I'm starting to get frustrated, and I need to manage my stress levels. Especially lately. Alright, it's reinstalled, so are you gonna work this time? I even put it on a different drive so it doesn't freak out. Okay, I think I got it working. Alright, how do I get to the trials? Alright, I think we got it. Oh, there we go. Oh yeah. Let me turn it down a little bit. Screen's black. What? Why is the screen black? Shouldn't be. Is it working now? Is the screen black now, yes or no? Might be the mod is messing with the capture source. Let me know if it's fine now, otherwise I'll fix it. Still is black. What the hell? Why is my XSplit not picking it up? That's really weird. Alright, there's a simple solution for this.